So I'm sure by now many people have seen this headline wherein Johnny Depp has been forced to sell his Kentucky farm for $1.3 million amid a legal battle with, we're going to call this person A.H. What most people don't know is Johnny Depp's personal connection to the property, talking about how he bought it for his mother, it was named after, and all the personal struggles that have come with this. When you look at Johnny Depp's mother, though, this isn't the first time that something like this has come up between Depp and A.H. See, according to newer documentation, apparently while the two were together, Depp had moved his mother into his L.A. home, and well, Mom had always thought that A.H. was, I'm going to say, not a good fit, but you can see the word in front of you. And regardless of any disrepair between A.H. and Mom, one thing is abundantly clear. Depp and Mom had close ties. So when you see headlines like this, A.H. filing to leave him just 3 days after his mom had passed away, yeah, that says something. It says a lot, in fact. Hey there. So today we are returning to that wonderful world of Johnny Depp coverage. And let me say two things before getting started. Number one, I hope all of you are safe and being secure, and I wish the best for you and yours. Two, if you like this content, you want to help out the channel, look into subbing, sharing videos, and check out the links because this kind of stuff, it is a no-no topic. Thank you. Now, understand the damage that all of this does. You first have to understand the relationship that Johnny Depp had with his mother. Now, after his mother's passing, he did an interview with People. We'll briefly look at portions of that. But if you look at this picture, I think it speaks louder than any word. You can see the tattoo on his arm, Betty Sue. Well, that is to commemorate his mom. You can tell in this photograph as well, this was done years before anything, because the two, they may have had somewhat of a tumultuous relationship here and there, but they also had a good one. So May 26, 2016, People published this article about Johnny Depp's mom. Johnny Depp's mother dies at 81, inside the close relationship with Betty Sue Palmer. Now, Depp, he brings up many things about Mom, including the fact that they have a close relationship, and it was built on abject poverty. Mom, she was raised in a shack in the wilds of Appalachia, where the toilet was an outhouse. She used to say she did things that her mom did, and her mom certainly didn't know any better. With my kids, they're told 75 times a day that they're loved. One thing I know is they feel loved and secure and happy and needed and necessary and a part of something. Now, another thing that he talks about in this is Mom's advice about dealing with bullies. I came from nothing but hillbillies, he tells reporters, and my mom said to me, all right, here's the deal. Next time anybody puts their hands on you, pick up a brick and lay them out. He says he concedes this lesson says a lot in terms of his Kentucky upbringing, but he nonetheless has taken this advice ever since because it worked for me. Again, if that's Mom's advice on that, you can imagine how she felt about certain people. So the last thing that the article brings up, and something important that we will return to, is this house. Why is the house important? Well, because it showcases that they have moved from abject poverty to something more substantial. He was able to give this to Mom, and after her passing, he kept this. He even named it after her, just like that tattoo, hoping, I would imagine, to keep it around always. Now, what's fascinating to read as you go back is that friends and family of Johnny Depp said, hey, you don't need to marry A.H. In fact, that person there, yeah, they're that colorful descriptor I talked about before. And, because of this stuff, he ended up cutting off anyone that would basically watch his back. I wonder in that, too. Was that him doing that, or was that someone else? Now, TMZ, they detail this stuff. I'm just going to read this to you. It's not very long, and I want you to pick up on two things. One, the issues between family and A.H., they were open to about this stuff. And two, when all of this goes into effect. So Johnny Depp and A.H.'s relationship was extremely bitter due to a full-blown feud between his family and A.H. And this, we're told, is the backdrop for what is already an acrimonious divorce. Multiple sources connected to the ex-couple tell us Johnny Depp's 2 teenage kids and his 2 sisters and his mom hated AH and openly discussed it. Can you imagine being around that to that point? Continuing, we're told they talked about how AH would rail on Johnny and quote-unquote treat him like crap. Earlier this year, Johnny moved his mother, Betty Sue Palmer, into the L.A. compound where he and AH lived, and the tension was palpable. So as a brief aside, Johnny Depp opened up to people talking about why this move took place. He discussed Mom, he discussed his daughter years ago and talked about medical conditions, and he said that Mom needed to move in because, well, she had a lot of needs and she couldn't look after herself. He also thanked medical staff and on, because of what they did for him. It actually is a really touching article, but it describes in detail what exactly was there and what kind of feelings were being fostered. Now, continuing the article from TMZ, we're told Mom often told friends she thought AH was using Johnny for his money and fame and to boost her own career. I wonder, was that happening? Why don't you give me your thoughts on that? Continuing, we're also told before Betty Sue moved in, she only saw her son once from the time he married AH, and both Betty Sue and Johnny blame her from keeping them apart so she'd have full control. You remember that thing that I was talking about before where she separated family and friends. Our sources say AH had 2 closed rooms, sit-downs with Johnny's mom after she moved in, and after both meetings, Betty Sue railed on her daughter-in-law, calling her a terrible person. So you have to have sit-downs in closed room sessions so you can talk to her, basically to say, hey, these are the rules in this house. And that's why just 3 days after Johnny Depp's mother's passing, you see articles like this popping up, also from TMZ. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard files for divorce on the heels of his mom's death. Now, what's even more insane about this is that the separation, it happens 2 days after the passing. So you have the passing, you have 2 days of bereavement, and then this is dropped. This is apparently dropped out of nowhere, too. She didn't talk about this with anybody there. And friends, family, even the media talk about how cold and calculated this stuff seems. Now, in this, it cites irreconcilable differences. The couple, they had been married February of the last year, yet AH was already asking for spousal support. Also in this, as most people know, there was no prenup. And if you look around all of the setting too, Depp had to go out and he had to talk about his new movie, Alice Through the Looking Glass, which opened on the Friday of that week with all of this stuff swirling around. I mean, you can imagine how crazy that is. Who would do that to somebody? Oh yeah, AH would. Soon after that, I'm talking mere weeks after it, you start seeing the media onslaught, and we're finding out that behind the scene, AH's legal team, they were utilizing the media and they were utilizing it well. This divides Hollywood. It divides the public. Basically, you have people that try to undo Johnny Depp to the tune of $7 million at the time in 2016, and the costs, they just keep accruing. Now, ultimately, these costs accrue on multiple fronts. We're talking emotional, we're talking physical, but we're also talking financial. This is one of those financial tolls, a big one, and it ties back into Mom. So March 19th, 2020, we see this about Johnny Depp selling the Kentucky farm for $1.3 million amid AH legal battle. Now, most articles, they cover the superficial, but they don't cover everything, like the fact that he nicknamed this property after his mother. You can see the superficial named in here. The sprawling 6,000 square foot home, whopping 7 bedrooms, 4-car garage, guest home, 3 barns, 15 horse stalls. Pool, it has charming property with a sunroom, manager's quarter, gourmet kitchen. He had initially sold this farm in 2001 for $1 million, which isn't that far off what he collected this time. The 56-year-old Kentucky native, he repurchased the property 4 years later for his mother, who lived in the home before passing away in 2016. The home is nicknamed Betty Sue's Family Farm in honor of his late mom. Now, from what I understood, too, this was a second time of purchasing the property and giving it to Mom. So, when you're talking about that, you're talking about something that was special. You don't go and nickname something Betty Sue's family farm if you plan to give it away. And that's what he did. He gave it away. It was evaluated at $2-point-something million. He wanted 3.4, but he ended up settling 1.3 because he needed the money now. There's much more that could be discussed in this too. In fact, if people want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. But I wanted to cover that attack with AH had prompted on Mom, basically to hurt Johnny Depp, and how this stuff, it just keeps going, and how it looks terrible when you truly think about what's going on. But anyhow, you tell me what you think. Ending this too, I want to say briefly, thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. You make this stuff possible. Not enough people say that, and I want to take the time to do so. I don't want to monopolize your time doing that either. That's all I wanted to tell you. You're welcome here. I hope you stay safe. And you can always hang out, watch videos, and you can pass the time here. But anyway, thank you again. Appreciate you. See you soon.